voting members. So we are kicking off our BG Transit Transportation Advisory Committee meeting, February 9th, 2021. And we do have one new member with us today. I received an email yesterday from John Zanfordino. He was our city council representative, and he has switched committees. So William Harold is replacing John on the Transit Advisory Committee. So welcome to William Harold.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can't replace John. I can only succeed him.
Well, welcome aboard. I'll go ahead and I will start off with a roll call. Shannon Fisher.
Present.
Lieutenant Mike Bengella. Melanie Stretchberry. William Harold.
Present.
Christy Walton. Connie Weaver. Tom Kelly.
Present.
Casey Mailer. Jason Miller.
Present.
I know we've got Scott Potter from our service provider on the
Yep.
line. And then Matt Snow is in as well. He is running the technical support for us today. Is there anyone else that is with us that I did not?
Melanie Stretchberry. Sorry,
Hi.
my alarm was ringing. I didn't hear if you called my name.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I did. And I thought I heard a beep in the background there. Thank you. All
Yep.
right. We're going to go ahead and move on with our November 17, 2020 minutes. Those were emailed out. And unless we have any amendments or changes, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Melanie moved to approve.
Okay, thanks, Melanie.
Second. Miller, second.
Okay, and Tom, I think, okay. So any further discussion? All righty, I am going to basically just say the vote. I won't go through and call each person's name, but all in favor, say aye.
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 Do we have anybody opposed? Do we have anybody that joined us since the last time I checked in with everyone? Okay. Minutes from November 17, 2020 are officially approved. Scott, why don't you go ahead and move on with the service provider update?
Okay, well, the two, really the two big things is because we were given free rides and we had so many more fares, we exceeded our labor budget for the year by $37,000. And because we had more accidents than we should have, our insurance has gone from $22,000 in 2018 to $47,000 this year.
Oh my God.
So it's a bit of tough times here. I did not receive, Tina, the sheets on the accidents or maintenance or the usual budget page. So that's really all I have.
Okay,
to
all
share.
right. Well, I know they went out in the email that Julie sent. Everybody else got the reports, right?
Yeah,
Julie
well,
had sent.
I printed off everything I got, but there were five attachments, but those weren't among them.
Well, everybody, did anyone receive any of the budget to actual report or anything like that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Must have just
Yeah.
been a glitch on your end, Scott.
Yeah.
I can say that we had little bit more ridership than we had the year prior. In 2020, we ended the year with 30,915 rides. I think the prior year was 30,700 and some change. So just a little bit higher ridership. The only real notable thing about that is that we had pretty much zilch ridership, I'd say very minimal, mid-March of last year through maybe the mid portion of May, when the pandemic was first known to everyone. A lot of people were not riding or only used the system when it was absolutely necessary to do so. So we had a period of time when our ridership was extremely low. But then as things opened back up, the ridership did flourish quite a bit and the numbers went pretty high. And actually, they've stayed pretty flux, at least in the first month of 2021. We're still, even with the restoration of the transit fares, we're still seeing a very healthy ridership.
Yeah, one of the impediments for us is we can't, we were just finally getting the hang of combining rides, and everybody gets a solo ride now. So
Yes, that's part of our plan to keep everybody safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, but hopefully with any luck that will change. Do we have any questions of Scott on any of the reports or anything like that? Okay. Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of highlight some of the fourth quarter 2020 quarterly market transit undertakings, and basically a lot of the same things we've always done: newspaper and online presence. We did sponsor the virtual holiday parade this year too. So that's probably the most notable undertaking in terms of a sponsorship. Any questions related to our marketing efforts? All righty. Onboard Transit Surveying 2021. We normally do that, undertake that in February. I'm going to push that out until sometime in the fall. When we meet in August, hopefully things will be at a much better place and we can safely conduct transit surveying on board the vans. But for right now, I'm going to push that back. Any thoughts or commentary or anything? I'll get it on the August agenda. Hopefully we can plan it for
I
some
think,
time.
Tina, my only feedback, this is Melanie, my only feedback to that is to inform the riders. Either post it somewhere on the van or somewhere letting them know that their feedback's always welcomed, because there are people who probably think it's the time to give that feedback, and let them know that formal feedback will be sought in the fall. Feel free to make comments at any time or whatever.
Most definitely. And we do have comment cards on board the vans. And we also
Right.
have our complaint forms in there too, but most definitely we'll do that.
Yeah.
All righty. So I am moving forward. We have several different policies and procedures where there have been amendments made. I ran every one of these past ODOT and received a favorable response. I'll start with the Title VI and general complaint procedures. The only amendment I've made here is I have found some pronouns and I've removed every one of those from this policy. You want me to go through each one, or do do we want to approve each one or approve the stack? What's the pleasure of the group?
Well, why don't we go ahead and go through the whole stack, and if there's one we want to further discuss, we can pull it out.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so there's that one. The second one I have here is the wheelchair and scooter transport and securement procedures. And just added in their language, it's highlighted, it says, the driver suggests alternative methods of transportation to the individual needing a ride. And that's if the wheelchair cannot fit on the lift or in the designated space. Transport is then denied, but then we suggest alternative methods. And I believe, Scott, working with you, you
Yeah.
folks have a list. Okay. Monitoring procedures. On this one, I have added in on page 124. It aligns with the practice that was undertaken last year. In years where unique circumstances occur, and I've said example, pandemic, this monitoring may be performed remotely. Example, over the phone, Zoom meeting, etc. The Bowling Green Grants Administrator is responsible for determining when or if this option may be used. And then on the following page, where it says the Grants Administrator in 2 spots, I've also got or designee. So in my absence, a designee could perform these duties. All righty. The next one is adherence to disadvantaged business enterprise program. This is a brand new procedure. It's just a best practice. And it basically states that although we're not currently required to have a DBE program plan in place, we make every effort to adhere to it as closely as we can. And then also we do semi-annual reporting for ODOT. And actually, just as a side note, our current transit service provider is a DBE. All right, scheduling. That's page 76. I've added a sentence, it's highlighted, where it says name. There's a parentheses, first and last name, or a unique identifier, such as a phone number or passenger's home address. And Scott, you want to kind of maybe note why that's of note, of interest?
Well, yeah, it's in the case of the reporting for no-shows and problems that may arise. And the fact is, we can't prove someone's giving us accurate information. Phones can come and go. We capture the phone number from which the call is made, but it may not belong to the person making the call. They could give us their pickup address. It may not actually be their home address, but Tina and I talked about it. We certainly not going to deny somebody because of that. It's just that it's going to affect our record keeping a little bit. And it's a very small number of people, by the way. It's just recently cropped up. So we're talking about less than 1%.
Okay.
And I did speak with a representative in the compliance area at ODOT, and he said, wow, that was something he had never really thought about, but he said, definitely that could affect the no-show reporting. So he said certainly if they will not give a last name, collect some other unique identifier. What's your personal, your mobile phone or your home phone number, or where do you live? Can you give us your street address, please? Even if that's not where you're being picked up from, that's a unique identifier. Again, we're not going to deny a ride. We're just trying to get accurate data in place. I think that's the last one I had in that stack.
And by the way, that last item, Tina, that would never apply to transit card holders, because in order for them to get the discount, they have to give us their number.
Yes, we've got a record on them, and so we know, who it is that's being picked up based upon the number on their card and so forth.
Okay. Are you seeking a motion, Tina, to approve?
Yes, please.
Melanie, I'll move to approve the policies as revised and as needed.
Okay, thanks, Melanie. Do we have a
Shannon,
second?
did you second?
Thanks, Shannon. Okay. Do we have any further discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? And then did we have anybody join us since roll call? Okay. Great. We will now move forward. There is a BG Transit Pandemic Plan and Policies that was forwarded on, and this is just a best practice. I hope that myself or no one else down the road ever has to think about another pandemic, but if they do, this is a compilation of what we have done here and what we continue to do here in response to COVID-19. And in the interest of, should it ever happen again, then there's some record of how we dealt with this effectively in 2020 and 2021. So it's really just a best practice. I would envision, it's not anything that is mandatory, but I would guess after the dust settles and we return to normalcy, that ODOT may require such a plan. So I guess I would look for a motion to approve the plan, accept the plan.
Jason Miller moved to accept the BG Transit Pandemic Plan as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Melanie seconds.
Thanks, Melanie. Do we have any questions, further discussion, anything of that nature?
This is Bill. I would say perhaps just as a follow-up, when the pandemic is finally behind us, maybe an additional look at this to see if there's any changes to be made.
Most definitely. In fact, we'll make this a living document. If something transpires between now and our May meeting, it will come back forward. So most definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? If not, I'll go ahead and take the vote. All in favor, aye.
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 Is anyone opposed? Okay, and I think Julie sent out, I know she did, the BG Transit updated brochure. We worked in conjunction with ODOT and have a nice new look to our brochure. It doesn't need to be approved or anything since they've already approved it, but it actually is something we wanted to share. Just got a nice new look. So, and it also reflects some of our newer policies, the no-show that was approved back in November, and some other different policies that were recently amended. Do we have anything for the good of the order before we go on to our second committee meeting? Okay, if not, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So move to adjourn, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have a second?
Shannon, second.
Thanks, Shannon. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm guessing no oppositions. All right. Let's see here. Now I'm going to grab my second stack, and Bill, as our newcomer, just so you're aware of what's going on, we have a vehicle accident prevention subcommittee that meets. And we tie it right to the conclusion of this meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and call that meeting to order. We've got November 17, 2020 minutes that were provided. If I could get a motion to approve those minutes, please.
Jason Miller, so moved.
Thanks, Jason.
Second, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any oppositions? All righty. Scott, since you had some computer issues.
Well, I found one of Julie's emails on my computer. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, good.
Let me see.
If not, I've got them here.
Yeah, see, it's just the same one I copied off of today. It doesn't have those reports on them. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. There were no accidents in the fourth quarter.
Thank God.
So, or incidents. And then vehicle maintenance. And I think most of you are aware, but we do have a new member. Because this is an FTA, a Federal Transit Administration grant, and we have federal dollars for federal transit vehicles, we have to adhere to a rigorous preventive maintenance schedule for each and every one of our transit vehicles. And that schedule's very prescribed, and every so many miles, the vehicle will come in to be serviced on various things. They might replace the spark plugs. They might, do a oil replacement, something like that. But it's very prescribed. Certainly, if things transpire in the interim, those are addressed too. But there is a prescribed preventive maintenance schedule. And we've got a listing of the various things that had to be done in the quarter that adhere to that plan. And then when they come to monitor our program, they'll always go out to our public works garage where the service is performed, and they pull the records to ensure that this is occurring, and it's occurring in a timely fashion. All right, the next thing on here is the fourth quarter 2020 training. And looks like there was a James Cottle and a Donavieve Burkett, Margaret Dotson, Michael Whitaker, all had various types of training. And again, that's another, there are records that are kept in the office. That's part of what I do with my monitoring. When I do monitoring, I'll go to their office and pull the files to ensure that the things that they are to be trained on, some things it's just for new employees, but some things it's due every so often. So that's part of what I will do to ensure compliance, because as you might guess, that's what ODOT does when they come. So I think that's all I've got, unless we have something for the good of the order. Okay, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Tina, I did
Yes.
have a question. I'm sorry.
No problem.
And I probably should have asked it in the last meeting. Are the drivers of the transportation network, are they considered frontline workers? And if so, have they been offered an opportunity for vaccination?
Yes.
You heard it
Thank
from
you.
Scott.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I did back maybe a couple months ago write, I think, a letter encouraging that transit workers be considered. So it's good that they are. So,
Yes.
all righty. Any other questions or anything related to safety or really anything related to transit? If not, I'll consider here I would request a motion to adjourn.
Jason, I move to adjourn.
Thanks, Jason. Do we have a second?
Second, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all so much for your